Socialist Zohran Mamdani getting some cold shoulders as he meets with top New York Democrats trying to secure their endorsements for mayor. This comes as a new poll shows former Governor Andrew Cuomo taking the lead over Mamdani, but if all other candidates were to drop out. According to the poll, if the two candidates go head-to-head, Cuomo would win with 52% of the vote compared to 41%. So, Pompliano, is this a sign the Mamdani movement may be losing enough steam for him not to become mayor?
Well, I think two things that are worth talking about here. You miscategorized our friend Mamdani. He's not a socialist, he's a communist.
Okay, fine.
And I think that is a much more not only accurate description, but people in America, some people are sympathetic to socialism because they feel like the capitalistic system has left them behind. Nobody is sympathetic to communism. And so I think that describing his policies correctly is important.
I met a few, but maybe not enough to elect the guy. I don't know.
Now, second thing is actually Mamdani had a huge advantage because he's a young guy. His mom is a film director, and he had a very young staff, and they're very good at creating content on social media. And both Cuomo and Eric Adams both basically were doing everything themselves. And if you noticed, for the last 6 months or so, they weren't doing a lot of social media. They weren't doing a lot of videos. They weren't doing this stuff. I've had an opportunity to have dinner with Eric Adams. I've also talked with the Cuomo campaign. And guess what they've all done in the last 6 weeks or so? They're hiring a lot of young people, a lot of people who know how to make TikTok videos, Instagram videos, memes, tweet for them, etc. I saw recently Andrew Cuomo tweeted something and somebody said, sir, excuse me, this is a Wendy's. And he responded with, I'd like some fries with that. And so if you think Andrew Cuomo's tweeting that, right, you got something else that you should be thinking about. So that's what's really happening here. Now we have young people in these campaigns fighting Mamdani's young people, and I think that that's what's going to ultimately determine.
Yeah, but it all comes down to somebody's got to get over their ego and drop out of this race. You're a very humble guy. I know you don't know anything about ego, but what do you think? Can it happen?
I am a humble guy, actually. But I'll tell you what, the analogy I think we can all use to feel better about this. I don't want to be too optimistic, but, you know, I'm not a fan of this Mamdani guy because he won't give me any policy, and I'm an investor. I need policy. And I am one of the investors that have asked for a meeting with him through staffers, and all I get is crickets. So let's put that out there. But if you recall, let me draw the analogy to last September, October, and the beginning of November in the overall election when you got to remember Kamala Harris came out and was killing it with rhetoric and winning. Her poll numbers kept going up and up and up right after the convention where she was anointed. Not a process, she just got anointed. Nobody really knew anything about her except she just said the right things over and over again. No policy whatsoever. And the longer it went on, slowly but surely in the swing states, because I'm a big numbers guy watching swing state votes, it started to not work anymore because people said, how come she won't do an interview? She won't even come to the big money show. She won't even come to Fox. She won't talk to anybody. And she keeps saying the same four things and not that well. This is what's happening right now with this campaign. Somebody, and I'm just one guy saying, I'd like some policy, please. Please, sir, can I have some more policy, please? Because I'm not hearing any of it. And all it is the same five things he says every day. Money for nothing, chicks for free, free buses, free rent, free everything. I got it already. I've heard that story. How are you going to do it? Tell me how you're going to do it. And I'm an investor. I want to build some affordable housing. Tell me how I can make money if I have frozen rent controls. And everybody's starting to think about that and say, you know what? There is no policy, just like Kamala. And she cratered in the 7 swing states. She got slaughtered in those states.
So is the Dire Straits campaign falling apart or not?
No. I love the poll, though. It's like, if everybody just drops out, like, then Cuomo could somehow beat Mamdani. Cuomo, the only kind of image makeover might be if he magically got reincarnated as, like, Jack Kennedy and looked like him. Like, even a Jack Kennedy mask couldn't snow people because people in New York and the voters know too much about him. And they've seen him too much, and they've heard him too much. And side note, taking a share of intel and crowing about it doesn't help the case against socialism. I'll just leave it at that.
Tiffany, you are not a New Yorker. Okay, we talk about this a lot because there's a sense that it matters for the country.
Yeah.
Are you watching this and saying this is an indicator of what the future could be in America? Well, how do you read it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fascinating game of what ifs, right? And at the end of the day, candidates, running and campaigns don't always use common sense. Yes, if they all dropped out, Cuomo could win, but they're not going to. Let's be honest. That they won't. They all have their shtick and what they're fighting for, so they're not going to drop out. But I think this has massive implications for our country. Mamdani is by far the most far left communist candidate our country has ever seen, full stop. And I think what's interesting is to watch is this the new Democrat Party? Because moderate Democrats have no home in this country right now. There's no leadership. They're literally crumbling right before our eyes. And is this their leader? Is this who they're willing to back? I think something else to watch is the amount of money that he is raising. He's raising money from California, from the West Coast. He's not raising money from New Yorkers, from investors who want to build here. He's raising money around the country from these radical far left Democrats who want him in office, who want him to be the leader of the Democrat Party, who want this new world, this new far left, crazy, radical world that we've sort of had to endure over the last 4 years. And thank God the American people stepped up and President Trump won in November for our country. But you can essentially buy votes. So it will be fascinating to see how much money he raises and how he can pick off those votes. Each voter is a certain dollar sign, and if he can do that,
look, all I say,
he could be the future leader of the Democrat Party.
if you're counting on Cuomo to reincarnate somehow to win this election, you are wishing on a star, and I don't think it's going to work.